When we're thinking about how to handle this COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic, we need to look not only outside, not only at what's happening around us, but we need to look at what's happening within us. The coronavirus crisis is actually a crisis of the human spirit. For so long now, at least for the past 50 years or so, human beings have lived with the nuclear threat. There are 16,000 nuclear weapons in the world. It's amazing how, so far, other than what happened in World War II, nothing else has happened. Then, in the past 25 years or so, 30 years maybe, we've become aware of climate change, especially in the past few years. So here we are, merrily proceeding as the human race, in between two monstrous threats, two, we could call them apocalyptic twins, twins of disaster. On the one side, nuclear weapons, on the other side, climate change. That's bad enough. Into the breach, into the middle ground between these two twins, we now have such a horrifying pandemic. What are human beings to do? Our pride has been pulverized. We're left to face the facts that we're dealing with material nature from such an insignificant standpoint. We're so tiny in comparison to the power of material nature. And periodically, material nature reminds us of that. Let's consider the role of animals in this whole coronavirus crisis. Scientists tell us that we're the victims of zoonotic pathogens. Those are pathogens that jump from the animals to human beings. In fact, in the USA, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention has calculated that of all the emerging infectious diseases, zoonotic pathogens jumping from animals to human beings are responsible for 75%, 3/4 of all emerging infectious diseases. Human beings are terrorizing animals, so you could very rightfully say that the animals are having their revenge. Someone might say, well, what about antibiotics? Won't they save us? Weren't they designed to save human beings? You'd be perhaps shocked to know that. For example, in the USA, 80% of all antibiotics are used on animals. And then resistance builds up against those antibiotics in such a way that human beings can't benefit from the antibiotics anymore. Something is going wrong with human civilization. We're exploiting and terrorizing other creatures. And we're also exploiting and terrorizing ourselves. In the midst of this coronavirus crisis, it is an excellent time for asking ourselves, what is the human life meant for? What is human society meant for? Are we just existing for economic purposes? Right now, the issue is what should receive more emphasis? Health or the economy? Yes, both have to be considered. We all want good health. And we would like an economy that's prosperous. But beyond those two factors, there's something even more crucial, something even more fundamental. The need for spiritual development. In other words, we human beings have forgotten our storehouse of ancient spiritual wisdom. We thought we knew it all as we exist delicately poised between the threat of nuclear weaponry on one side and climate change on the other side. And as I said, into the gap between those two twins, we have a hell of a pandemic. As bhakti yogis, as followers of Krishna, the supreme yogi, we'd like to advocate the need for redirection in human society. Yes, we must satisfy our economic needs, but why do that in such a way that we're destroying our own habitat? We're destroying the environment. What I'm trying to say is that human society is a dangerous experiment that's gone way out of control. And nature is pounding on our door, letting us know. What is the real mission of the human being, of human society? Is it simply economic? We're seeing that that kind of society with that kind of concentrated aim is causing so much havoc to the environment, to our health. We need a total review of human existence. Bhakti yogis, Krishna conscious persons, would like to present that this total review should be based on the most profound storehouse of ancient wisdom, ancient spiritual wisdom. You'll find that in Bhagavad Gita and other Bhakti Yoga texts. We need to take help from antiquity, although we had that pride that we're so advanced. For example, you might not know, but in 2019, throughout the whole world, there was not one reported case of smallpox. So before this coronavirus pandemic, we human beings thought, we're making progress, we're doing great. The problem is that you stop one disease, and that disease's son and granddaughter comes along. In Bhagavad Gita, we learn that the real disease we should be coping with is the entire package of material existence. Then we are truly holistic. Let's look at the whole situation. And in order to do that, in order to review the whole situation and cope with it, we need knowledge. And that knowledge should lead to a transformed lifestyle, so that our damage done to to the environment, into our bodies, lessons. The real way to solve this crisis is to have a total review of what is the mission of the human being. Have we actually achieved progress, or do we just get temporary glimpses of moving forward and then some calamity strikes? Calamities brought about by our own making, nuclear weapons. Calamities brought about by our own making, climate change. And now we have these pathogens crossing over from the animal kingdom into our domain because we're terrorizing the animals, exploiting them horribly. Factory farms, live animal markets. Throughout the whole world, human beings kill for consumption 74 billion animals yearly. The yoga texts teach us what goes around comes around. There's the law of karma. Our hearts ache for the suffering that this coronavirus is causing. If we're going to deal with our human problems at the root, we must stress the need for spiritual knowledge and a genuinely spiritual lifestyle. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.